India is all set to sign a deal for the purchase of the naval version of Rafale Fighter Jets from France. According to the reports, India is planning to procure 26 Rafale naval jets, also known as Rafale M from France. The latest batch of Rafale jets will include 22 single-seated Rafale Marine aircraft along with 4 trainer aircraft. India has already procured 36 Rafale jets from France for its Air Force. But the naval version of the jet is a bit different from the ones India has procured for its Air Force. Now, while both the Rafales are identical to look at, the naval version has a longer and more strengthened nose. Let's now tell you about the features that differentiate Rafale jets from Rafale Marine jets. Number 1, Rafale Marine can operate from aircraft carriers. That is, that it can operate from different aircraft carriers. That's the first point. Like INS Vikramaditya and Vikrant, they have been operating the MiG-29s and now need Rafales for operations on both the carriers. Moving on, it has a carrier-based microwave landing system, now which is an all-weather precision radio guidance system. And the Rafale M also includes inbuilt ladder for direct access to the cockpit from the deck of the carrier. And the radar system of this Rafale M is maritime optimized. And it also has a wider range of weapons, including anti-ship missiles. And lastly, the Rafale Marine jets are heavier than its Air Force counterpart, and that is mainly because of all the latest modifications and features that the Rafale M has. For more on this, we have with us Captain Alok Bansal. He's joining us live from New Delhi. He's a director of Indian Foundation, and Captain Bansal is also a naval expert. Thank you so much for joining us on WION, Captain.
Thank you.
Right. Now, Captain, with the procurement of 26 Rafale M jets, India is clearly strengthening its naval capabilities. But talk to us about why India has decided to buy the Rafale M jets now. What are some threats that New Delhi wants to thwart?
See, we need to understand that Indian Navy is the most powerful Navy amongst the littoral nations of the Indian Ocean. And I think India is operating right now 2 aircraft carriers. As of now, they are operating MiG-29s, which was a quantum jump over Sea Harriers, which they were operating earlier. But even now, MiG-29's range of about 1,500 kilometers is much smaller than Rafale. Rafale is much more versatile, much more endurance, and much more reach. And in Indian Ocean, it's a vast ocean space, and you needed an improved version of an aircraft. And Rafale Air Force is already operating. So consequently, a naval version, maintenance, operations would be far easier because there will be a lot of uniformity, though maritime version is slightly different from Rafale because of its specific maritime requirements. It has a hardened undercarriage. It has a foldable wings because it has to go inside the ship. So for that, you need to have foldable wings so that you can stack them inside in the hangar deck. So those are the facilities. Plus, its radar is optimized for maritime use because at sea you will not have any terrestrial features, but there is huge amount of sea clutter because of waves, etc. So you have to identify ships between that. And of course, its weapon mix is also much more versatile. It can use anti-ship missiles and other weapons also, besides what an ordinary Rafale does. So I think Rafale is a quantum jump over MiG-29, and I think at some stage, I think India would be not only enhancing the indigenization content, but with this sort of an expertise, we would go in for setting up some sort of an assembly lines in India at some stage.
Right, Captain, you clearly spoke about the differences between Rafale M jets and Rafale jets. But for our audiences, give us an analysis as to where does India's naval capability stand at the moment and how the procurement of 26 Rafale M jets will strengthen the Indian Navy in times to come.
See, as I brought out, Indian Navy is the most powerful Navy amongst the littoral nations of the Indian Ocean. In fact, we have been in the forefront of providing support to others. If you remember, long back when Mozambique had an OAU summit, they wanted Indian Navy to provide offshore support. During tsunami, we supported Indonesia, Sri Lanka, Maldives. When there was a crisis in Lebanon, we evacuated our citizens as well as the citizens of our neighborhood and our friendly country. In fact, the high point was when there was evacuation of Indians from Yemen, and the United States government issued an advisory saying that any American citizens in Yemen who want to be evacuated should contact Indian embassy and Indian Navy will evacuate them. So we are undoubtedly powerful, but with now this power, we also have greater responsibilities. Now, the ships that we have, the fleet that we have has enormous responsibility, and you needed aircraft which can actually give you greater reach. And in Rafale, you find that sort of a reach because in your vicinity, you have major shipping choke points of the world. You have Strait of Hormuz, you have Bab al-Mandab, you have Strait of Malacca. So all these places where the ships congregate, and these are the areas where you have to keep them under surveillance. You can also prevent any hostile naval ingress through these areas. So I think that is where Rafale gives us an edge. And as I said, unlike other services, navies actually have enormous reach, and navies are required to go and stay at different places. And if India has to attain its rightful place in the Committee of Nations, you need to have capability to influence events even far away from your borders. And the instrument that can help you do that is only this particular Navy which can do that. And as far as Navy is concerned, and if we want to control the oceans, the sea control, as we say, which is the strategy of Indian Navy, aircraft carrier is key for it. And for aircraft carrier, the aircraft is the key. And in Rafale M, we have a very, very versatile and powerful aircraft that we'll be getting.
Right, absolutely, Captain. Thank you so much for joining us on WION and sharing your insights with us at this moment. Thanks very much.